This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome to the Superpowers for Good live pitch. We are so excited to have you here tonight. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and we are just thrilled to see you all here tonight. We have some extraordinary companies that will be pitching tonight. Arro, Hempitecture, and Qnetic and Rubitection. These are great companies raising capital from the crowd, and we are excited to introduce them to you. Remember, we're not sharing investment advice. We're educating you, but let's be clear. You can invest in these businesses during the show. They're all raising, coincidentally, on WeFunder tonight. So that is the first time we've ever had that happen, that all the pitching companies are raising on one platform. But it's going to be a great show tonight. Stick around. Don't miss a minute. I want to thank our producer, Chandan Saha, who's been up all night, now in the wee hours of the morning, early hours of the morning in his hometown, and we're grateful for him making time for us today, the great work he does to make this work. I want to introduce and acknowledge our three expert investor judges. All of them are active investors. Léa Bouhelier-Gautreau is a senior investment associate at King's Crowd, where she curates the monthly impact investing insights. She's passionate about sustainability. She also leads market research on trending impact topics. She holds a degree in anthropology and an MBA from UC Davis, and she is actively involved in managing King's Crowd's investment fund. She is a professional investor. Woody Neiss, one of the real OGs of crowdfunding, was there at the signing of the 2012 Jobs Act when what we're doing tonight became legal. He is really an important member of the crowdfunding community, and we're thrilled that he's here tonight. He too has a fund that he manages that is investing actively in crowdfunding deals. And then finally, our last judge is Paul Lovejoy. He's a registered investment advisor, and he leads Stakeholder Enterprise. And Paul is a remarkable guy. You don't want to miss. We're going to do an upcoming episode of the Superpowers for Good, where Paul walks us through his experience investing in a Reg CF deal every day for a year. Holy cow, 365 investments. That's incredible. I think there are very few people in the world who have made more Reg CF investments than Paul has. So this is going to be a great session. Let me bring the judges on for a minute, because I want to just chat with these three for just a second, because there's an important item I want to cover, and that is that some of you have already made investments in some of these companies. Which ones have you already invested in?
I can start, yeah. So King's Crowd Capital invested in Qnetic and Hempitecture. We're very proud to have them tonight. I think they're going to do great. But just to give a little bit of context to everybody, we reviewed a lot of companies for this show, and we selected the 4 best ones. So even those that I did not invest in, I still strongly believe in.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Woody and Paul, do either of you have investments in any of these companies tonight?
Yeah, I do.
Great.
So Devin, as you mentioned, I was investing every day for an entire year, and one of my investments was in Qnetic. So I'm thrilled of what they're doing. And interestingly enough, I was doing due diligence on Hempitecture when I realized or found out they're going to be part of this pitch. So yeah, super excited about it.
Yeah, so this show gives you an opportunity, gives all of you an opportunity to weigh in making additional investments in each and every one of the companies, whether you're adding to a position or taking an initial position. So thank you all for being here and for the great work that you are doing. We're going to hop to a quick commercial break, but then we will be back shortly.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding. The book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Savickas raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy.
SuperCrowd LA is the must-attend conference for impact investors, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn from experts who've raised millions, including Jason Fishman of DNA, Sarah Hardwick of The Crowd, and Doug Wilmore of WorldTree. Plus, a live pitch with top investment opportunities. Early bird pricing ends soon.
Struggling to raise capital for your business? Unlock the power of the crowd with AI. My free guide, Crowdfunding Made Simple, walks you through every step to success. Get funded smarter, faster. Scan the QR code now for your free download.
Welcome back, everyone. I am just excited here as we get ready to go. We're going to be first tonight with Arro. So let me bring on the Arro team, and we'll get started. Let's see. We'll retire our judges here for a minute, and let's see. What have I done? There we go, Luke. Take it away. Take it away. That's not the slide you want. We want your slides. What have I done? There we go. Now we should have your slides.
All right.
There we go. There we go.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. I appreciate you joining today. My name is Luke Palullo, and I'm co-founder and COO of Arro. The consumer credit market is a $5 trillion industry, yet a large portion of Americans don't have fair access. Existing products marketed to this group, like buy now, pay later, cash advance, or payday loans, charge them extremely high interest and fees. They don't build credit, and they take advantage of those that need it the most. When we started Arro back in 2021, we knew there must be a better way to help people get access to financial products and do it in a way that's fair, transparent, and sets them up for success long-term. At Arro, we're building a new platform to bring inclusion and lending and make credit more accessible. We've partnered with MasterCard to build an unsecured credit card for the many rather than the few. This card works the same way, just like any credit card that you or I have, but with some key differences that I'll mention now. We have the smallest starting credit card in the country. And so our initial limits start anywhere from $50 to $200. And when someone applies for an Arro card, our underwriting is primarily based on cash flow, not just credit data, which is typically what larger credit card companies use. This enables us to break down barriers to entry to credit for people that don't have credit history or are credit rebuilding. Our card's also 16% interest rate, which is probably far better than any card you or I have. And is indicative of our commitment to fairness and empowering our users for the future. Where we're highly differentiated is that we've built an entire financial literacy program in-house with a team of college professors that our users are required to go through in order to continue to increase their credit lines. These are 5 to 7 minute videos and text-based modules, and are really meant to be fun and engaging, kind of like a Duolingo, but for finance. We found that there's a high correlation between creditworthiness and financial wellness. And so by helping our customers learn basic concepts, starting with credit, and then goes all the way through more advanced topics like investing, we're setting them up for success, not just with Arro, but for their financial futures as a whole. To talk a little bit about the way it works. So in this case, somebody started with a $100 credit limit, and then they're presented with a number of opportunities to increase that limit. So taking these activities, getting immediate credit limit increases. As they take those lessons and actually form habits out of them, so making on-time payments, paying your balance in full, you get access to much larger increases. And so as they're leveling up, they're getting higher credit limits, lower interest rates, and additional card benefits. And really what we're trying to do is give our users the opportunity to prove their own creditworthiness and then get rewarded as part of the process. So this is one of our actual customers, Jamie. We did an interview with her and heard about her story, which we do with a lot of our customers. And Jamie was rejected for a Capital One card, came to Arro and was approved. And this was her journey over the 4 months. She was taking lessons, she was increasing her credit limit, and also making full balance payments as well. So she was building really positive credit history. And over that time period, got a 30-point increase in her FICO. And why this is important is because we have about 14,000 people just like Jamie on our platform today who otherwise wouldn't have a chance. And there are tens of millions of people in our country that just need a chance and an opportunity to help them build credit, help learn financial lessons, and ultimately be successful in their own lives. As part of the experience, we also have a financial coach that is called Artie, and he's AI-based. We built it in-house. That really just helps the customer along the way. They answer questions, they support our customers, and help also drive positive behaviors in the form of nudges and reminders so that they can stay on track. In real time, what's happening under the hood is that we're actually developing another score that runs in parallel to FICO, which we're calling the Arro score. This score is primarily based on behavioral data and also kind of brings into risk into that to help us continue to underwrite our customers in real time, but then to also partner with other companies that are issuing auto loans, insurance, et cetera, so they can use Arro to help get customers into other fair financial products as they continue. Our underwriting is working. We're currently outperforming competitors like Capital One and Discover by over 3 times for this customer segment, which is super exciting. And we're driving profitability. Our cohorts have been profitable since Q2 of 2024. And this quarter, they're going to be increasing by about 50%. In 2024, we grew revenue by 500% while growing our user base by 2.5 times. And while we're experiencing exciting growth for 2024, we're really looking to continue that growth and are anticipating to hit a $4 million run rate by the end of 2025. And supporting this growth, we have to have a large partnership pipeline who can help us reach these targets. And because of Arro's focus on mission and vision of financial wellness, financial literacy, we have a ton of partners lined up to help us get these customers by introducing us to their users, endorsing Arro, and then ultimately bringing on customers at a low cost to us in a scalable way for the future of the business. We've also gained a lot of recognition in the industry. Most recently, we beat out the Federal Reserve to win Gartner's 2024 Ion Innovation Awards. And lastly, I just wanted to thank you all for your time. Please reach out to me directly at Luke@Arro Finance if you have questions, and look forward to seeing you on WeFunder.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Let me bring our judges on, and we're going to have a little chat with them. And as we're bringing them onto the screen, let me just point out that everyone who's watching can ask questions. Our judges will start the questions here, but everyone can ask a question. Note, too, that if you want to go directly to the WeFunder campaign, where you can invest right now after that compelling pitch, you can scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now, or type in that short link, s4g.biz/Arro. So, Léa, do you want to get started? What do you want to know about Arro?
Yes, I want to talk a little bit about competition. It is a pretty competitive space. There's about 83 businesses that did in 2024 that were issuing credit cards in the United States. So my question is, in such a tight space, how do you actually acquire customers?
Yeah, so it's a great question and one that we're really proud of and a moat that we've actually developed over the past 2 or so years. But that's really been kind of the Achilles heel of fintech companies and credit card companies in general, is very high customer acquisition costs. So you're looking at north of $90, in some cases over $100 or $200, depending on the customer. Because we're going down market and focusing on a customer that really is overlooked, we have a lot of opportunities to gain market share in that way. Like I was highlighting in the pitch as well, we're partnering with a number of organizations across the country, credit unions, credit rebuilding companies, other fintechs, investing apps, who see the value that we bring in not only introducing them to financial literacy, but creating a more financially well and resilient customer. And so we're doing a lot of cross promotion with those types of companies that has led to a ton of applications, and also will continue well into 2025. We have about a pipeline of 20 million potential customers lined up for 2025. So it's really been the focus on financial wellness meets behavioral science that has given us a unique wedge in the space.
Great. Paul, do you have a question?
Yeah. A gamified financial education platform, like you said, the Duolingo of financial literacy. Maravilhoso. That's Portuguese, by the way. Now, this offering hits home for me because I'm an advocate for more financial education. If more people were financially literate, then there'd be more people investing in your company. The more people that can reclaim their financial power, the better off our entire society would be. Almost every single social problem is linked with socioeconomic status. I see you and I love what you're attempting. However, the million-dollar question is for us investors, can you deliver? Now, we've all just seen the numbers in your pitch, which provide some evidence of this. My question is, why are you personally involved in financial education? What made you think, I need to make this company succeed?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, Paul. My brother's name is actually Paul as well. So good naming on your parents' part. My first company that I built was actually a financial app for kids and teens. And so we built a parent-controlled payment app that had financial literacy and basically parental controls and money management tools built into the core experience. And then kind of a similar leveling system in some regards there as well. And as we were doing interviews, customer interviews with our users, the parents were saying, man, I wish I had something like that when I was a kid. And so as we exited that company, looking kind of forward to what was next in the next frontier, just understanding this massive gap in financial literacy, with our population just here in the US, and not even to mention globally, it just showed that there was a massive opportunity. The materials are widely available. You can go on any bank's website and find some financial literacy section buried in the corner. But how many of us have really gone through and read that and gotten smarter? You either learn it at the home if you're lucky from mom and dad, or you kind of learn it by making mistakes in the real world. And so what we wanted to do is to take that content and make it consumable in a way that we're used to consuming content, short form content, primarily video based, and then actually tying that content to some type of tangible reward. In this sense, a credit limit increase. So financial literacy content in a vacuum is somewhat effective, but when you actually tie it to behavioral cues and you actually kind of encourage people to do that and continue, you really start to see the effect of combining the two in one, and then ultimately rewarding for not just learning about that content, but putting into practice and being more financially resilient and financially well yourself. So that's really why we're here. Everyone at our company has their own journey and story of why it's important to them. But at the end of the day, it's important that everyone understands that we're here to build technology and services for our customers to really help them in the future and set them up for success.
All righty. Woody, what do you want to know?
Well, as you can see by that sign right there, I'm a father. So I've got two little kids that I am trying to teach about saving, spending, credit I have not touched on yet. And that's why I think this is fascinating, because this is like a critical thing we all need to learn, probably starting in elementary school. I have a couple questions, though, related to what can you do with $100 credit limit? Like, is that the right point at which we start this? Because and realistically, in today's day and age, you can spend $100 really quickly. So I want to learn more about why that's the starting point for this. I also, I've seen a lot of companies that focus on the saving side for kids. Like, let's teach kids to save. What outreach, what sort of education are you doing with schools, with anything, with parents to help kids learn about credit and literacy here as well?
Let me start with your first question, just so that we can be clear on the market that we're talking about. This is not meant for kids. This is only 18 or older, really with kind of a focus on Gen Z and like the older side of Gen Z. So These people are either students or they're in the workforce, and we're building technology for them. I think it's important, though, that kids learn at some level, and we're actually looking at doing a kid card and having kind of it owned by the parent, but that's kind of down the line in the roadmap. To answer your first question, remind me again, sorry, Woody, I went backwards, but remind me your first question just quickly.
Well, it's really about the $100 limit.
The $100 limit, yes. So we found that, between 50 and 200 as a starting point is an area where we can afford to take more risk. So we can approve a lot of people at that level because we're approving them for a different card than, say, a Capital One at a $5,000 limit. Hence why a lot of people are getting declined from Capital One. This is meant to be a starting point. Limits can get as high as 2,500 or beyond based on the individual's experience with the program. So why it's super interesting is after 6 months, you could be at 1,500, Paul could be at 1,000, and I could be at 250 just based on the activities I'm taking, based on my payment habits, based on my income. And so we're really trying to individualize this experience and optimize for growth for the user, but while managing downside risk of a potential riskier borrower. If they're missing payments or if they're late on payments, et cetera. These are all behavioral cues that are being factored into our underwriting model, which we're running in real time and able to accelerate the good borrowers and kind of manage downside risk of potentially bad borrowers. And so it's really about giving everyone an opportunity to prove their credit worthiness. And then as customers are at 2,000 or 2,500 or beyond, we're making a lot of money on that customer on our revenue channels, not from the customer, but from the merchant as their volumes go up, and then kind of managing on the lower end of things to be able to approve a lot of folks, let a lot of folks get into the platform, and ultimately not be lending out too much money, when we have limited data on them. So it's all about data aggregation as they're going along, and then ultimately accelerating and individualizing that experience on a per customer basis.
And
so to answer your question, $100 is not a lot of money. It doesn't get you a lot in today's world, but you can get up pretty quickly in the Arro platform. And it's all just kind of based on your unique experience there.
But if you're helping people grow their credit, how are you going to hold on to them as they get a higher credit limit? Because the benefit of points and what other credit cards have to offer are out there that might pull them away from you.
Yeah, so a great question as well. So as customers level up from bronze to silver to gold to platinum, they're getting additional card benefits. So we're just introducing cashback now as well. We have a number of other financial tools, a budgeting tool, a savings account that we're launching as well. The goal is not necessarily to keep everyone on Arro forever. If all of our users graduated off to Arro and all went and got Amex cards or Chase cards and went up market, we're doing our job. That's all about financial mobility. And so a great case study, we had an immigrant come here and we met with him, another customer of ours, and he couldn't qualify for any other cards but Arro. And the gold standard for him was getting the Amex Platinum. That was like an American dream of his and kind of like an I made it moment. And after a few months on Arro, he actually qualified for an Amex Platinum, which was an amazing success story for us. And in meeting with him and understanding, the role that Arro played in that, he's like, I'm going to be an Arro customer for life. And we're still seeing volume and him going through the activities because there's still a lot of benefit to draw from being part of Arro. Also, there's a huge network effect too. So we work with auto lenders, we work with insurance companies, where by being an Arro member, you can qualify for rates that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to qualify for. And so for us, it's really about working with those partners who are going up market and saying, can we refer you to a Chase Freedom card when you reach a certain level? What does that look like? And then ultimately, how do we pass them off? And so there's a ton of graduation opportunities, not only creating an Arro 2.0 card or an Arro Black card, but also graduating them to other cards that might fit their needs better once they reach that point.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Listen, I want to invite our audience. We've got just about 60 seconds left. If we get a quick question, you can submit questions for Luke in the comments. If you're watching on social media or YouTube, you can also submit questions via the online form, s4g.biz/question, or just scan that QR code you see in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. So please, if you got a question for Luke, submit it. We've got just 60 seconds left for a question for Luke. We'll give him 30 seconds to answer. But that tool for asking questions will be available all night. So you can use the comments or you can use the form to submit questions for any of our pitching entrepreneurs tonight. So feel free.
And
to submit
David,
your
if I
questions.
could just jump in, if no questions come in, if you can't get it in on time, feel free to email me, luke@arrowfinance.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions there as well after the show.
Yeah. All righty. Well, with that, I think we're gonna move on. We'll take a quick break here, and I really appreciate everyone taking the time to be here. But we'll be right back with our next entrepreneur.
Supercrowd LA is the must-attend conference for impact investors, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn from experts who've raised millions, including Jason Fishman of DNA, Sarah Hardwick of The Crowd, and Doug Wilmore of WorldTree. Plus, a live pitch with top investment opportunities. Early bird pricing ends soon.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today.
Won't investors need data tools like they have for public equities? That simple question has led our world-class team at Kingscrowd for years to invest in building a first-of-its-kind, Bloomberg-like data solution for investors like you and me. Our database is far and away the most comprehensive in this new startup investing landscape.
Supercrowd LA is the must-attend conference for impact investors, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn from experts who've raised millions, including Jason Fishman of DNA, Sarah Hardwick of The Crowd, and Doug Wilmore of WorldTree. Plus, a live pitch with top investment opportunities. Early bird pricing ends soon.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today.
Unlock your potential with the Crowdfunding Professional Association for just $10 a month. Join a thriving community, access expert training, raise capital efficiently, stay compliant, and help shape crowdfunding policies. Scan the QR code now. Join us today to empower your success.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited now to turn the time over to Matty Mead. He's the CEO and founder of Hempitecture. This is really a cool company that I've been hearing about for many years. It's exciting now to have them on the show to pitch. But Matty, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Devin. I'm excited to be here tonight. This is so awesome.
All right, we got your slides up, so we'll turn you loose.
Cool. Let's get going here, folks. Good evening. Hey, thanks for joining tonight. Thanks for learning about my company and all these other really cool companies that are on here. My name is Matty Mead. I'm the founder and CEO of Hempitecture. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey that began with a simple question. That question is, why are we building in ways that harm us and our planet? We've got a big problem out there. We think it's the problem of our time. The built environment, the places we live and work, the places that we're in right now, they are the single largest contributor to our domestic carbon emissions. What might even be worse is that the buildings that we spend 90% of our lives in, well, unfortunately, they're toxic to our health. They are killing us. In 2013, when I was an architecture student, I became focused, actually obsessed, with finding a sustainable solution to this problem. In 2014, I stood on stage at a TEDx event and I outlined my vision for how we can build a better world. That TEDx event became the thesis for Hempitecture. Through my research as a student, I concluded that the solution, it's in nature, an agricultural plant called industrial hemp. Fast growing, rapidly renewable, requires little water, no pesticides, and captures more carbon dioxide than trees in just 4 months. At Hempitecture, we are harnessing the power of nature to re-envision the materials that go into our built environment. And we're not just imagining this future, we're building this future today. Our factory in Idaho is the first of its kind in the United States. In 2024, we shipped products to nearly all 50 states, and we generated over $2 million in revenue with just a single salesperson. Next year, we're on track to double that. The world's largest companies like Google, Meta, and more, they're teed up and ready to use our materials. So if you've ever been in your attic or your crawl space and you've seen that itchy pink insulation, that terrible material, you know how awful it is. Hempitecture makes bio-based materials that are so different from materials of fiberglass that are made with formaldehyde and chemical materials that are harmful to our health. We're changing all of this with hemp wool. It's insulation that's safe to touch, healthy, and high performance. But our product catalog, it doesn't stop there. We've expanded to rigid board insulation, acoustic insulation, and more. And as we scale, we're making these products cost competitive, positioning us to win this market. These materials aren't just sustainable, good for the planet, and good for your health. They're also performance competitive. Our technology, it extends well beyond construction. We're developing automotive composite solutions to lighten electric vehicles. We're making thermal packaging insulation for meal delivery companies like Sunbasket and HelloFresh. You might even be sleeping on Hempitecture's materials in your favorite organic mattress. And this is just the beginning of what's possible. It adds up to a $50 billion total addressable market that we are actively working to capture. Hempitecture, we're more than just a manufacturing company. We're a technology-enabled disruptor. Our direct-to-consumer software, it makes it easier than ever before for contractors and homeowners to buy our products directly online. It's like Home Depot at your fingertips, but for carbon-negative building products. This allows us to scale rapidly while focusing our efforts on developing these massive B2B relationships. We have created a blueprint that we are stamping out nationally. We're expanding our manufacturing footprints to Tennessee, New York, and we're bringing American jobs, sustainable manufacturing, and economic growth to rural communities along the way. With these locations, we can serve 90% of the United States within 1 day or less, ensuring fast and efficient delivery of our materials. This isn't just about climate change, folks. This is about American manufacturing. This is about American agriculture. This is about reducing our reliance on imported materials. That's why the U.S. Department of Energy has backed us, why New York State has backed us, why Tennessee Department of Agriculture has backed us. It's why over 900 investors have come together in our current round and contributed over $1.4 million to our growth. But perhaps the biggest reason to invest, this is going to happen with or without you. But with your support through our current Reg CF, we can scale faster, we can grow bigger, and we can make a real impact. I've dedicated my life to this business, but I certainly don't do it alone. My co-founder, Tommy Gibbons, is a Princeton graduate, a former Goldman Sachs analyst, and my right-hand man. We actually go all the way back to high school. I think we were 14 years old when we met. We have a team of experts ranging from Google's former climate maven to the former CEO of Tesla Motors. All these humans you see here, they're helping build the future of truly sustainable materials. This round is closing soon, and this is your chance to get in on the opportunity to own a promising piece of this future. Time is running out. Scan the QR code, visit us on WeFunder, and be a part of our journey. We're more than just a business. It's a leap forward in how materials can better the health of ourselves and our planet. Thank you.
I think this was just a great presentation. Paul, maybe you could kick us off this time.
Sure. First of all, insulating walls with hemp, you're not going to believe this.
Exactly right, Paul.
Well, you're not going to believe this, but I had this same idea in college, man. Okay, well, I just made that up. But in all seriousness, do you find that investors, financial institutions, or any large organizations for that matter, have some of these old biases about hemp? And if so, how do you handle this type of criticism?
Well, Paul, to build off of your, I think, jocular comment there, this idea did emerge from my time as a college student when I was studying architecture. I did my thesis on what I call the contemporary relevance of earth architecture. I looked at different materials used across the globe and determined that industrial hemp was one of the greatest opportunities for reducing our carbon in the built environment, because industrial hemp, it yields natural fiber. And actually, we have an incredible agricultural heritage in the United States with industrial hemp. We are the only nation on earth that banned industrial hemp. And before that ban in 1937, which coincided with the invention of nylon and the patenting of nylon, which was taking oil and turning it into fiber, all fiber was made from rapidly renewable bast fiber crops: hemp, flax, knaf, and jute. Those crops, those are grown across the world, but they're very limited to the regions in which they can be grown. So for instance, jute, that was grown primarily in Southeast Asia, flax, Northern Europe. Industrial hemp is the one bast fiber crop that can transcend latitudes, can transcend regions, can transcend climate zones. In the United States, we have a multitude of climate zones. So when we're thinking about a scalable business, about a business where we can control the supply chain and we can build that supply chain around our manufacturing, industrial hemp is the answer. So yes, there is a stigma around industrial hemp. It's something that we've actively worked to combat over the years. Industrial hemp was not legal when I first presented Hempitecture in 2013 and 2014. I stood on stage in front of 250 people and said industrial hemp will be legal in 2018, and I want to be on the forefront of this industry. I was laughed at. That vision came true. That vision guides Hempitecture into our mission today, and the walls are being broken down surrounding industrial hemp. I certainly understand it's a confusing crop. People conflate it with cannabis or marijuana. It certainly is not. You should see our hemp farms, Paul. You will love it. Hundreds, thousands of acres grown under pivots, where our competitors, they have to use a furnace heated to thousands of degrees to create their fiber. We're using a furnace in the sky that's free. That's the sun. Photosynthesis helps grow our materials. So education is key, Paul. We've been educating since 2013. We understand that that's part of the future, but I think the value proposition for Hempitecture is high performance, sustainability, carbon negative, and ultimately cost competitive. When you have all of those things, it doesn't matter what it's made of. It's a product that wins.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Great
Excellent.
answer.
Woody, what do you want to know?
Well, I mean, you took all the hemp jokes away. I was going to say, how many times a day do people ask if they can smoke the house?
If I had a nickel, Woody, if I had a nickel, I would not be on this event tonight.
Listen, you know what? I go into Home Depot regularly. I feel like the people that work in there couldn't even tell me which aisle light bulbs are on these days. There's just so much inventory. There's so many different products. You've got insulation there. How are you going to get people to pivot and move away from the traditional, insulation that they're used to buying to what you guys have? And then a second question that I just have that I just need to answer is this flammable? Like, it looks to me like this stuff could go up in fire. And I just need to know that, if I'm living in California where these wildfires have taken place, that my house is not going to burn down because it's insulated with this.
Yeah, great questions. First, let's just talk about our customers today, who they are. Today, our primary early adopter segment are people that are focused really on two things: sustainability or health. I think those are very motivating factors for people who are deciding what materials go into their home. We range from custom projects designed by world-class architects to tiny houses, small modular homes, and everywhere in between. Of course, that early adopter segment, that's where we go to market, but it's not the long-term vision. It's not the ramp to $20 million in revenue per year. That ramp to $20 million of revenue per year is with larger institutional buyers and in projects that are considering embodied carbon, sustainability, and cost. Because our product checks all of those boxes, we're having conversations with some of the world's largest development companies that are corporate strategic partners. For instance, companies that might be building data centers, they need to weave in a sustainable story into their behemoth data center that is consuming tons of water and tons of energy. Hempitecture has a product that checks all the boxes and would be a multi-million-dollar opportunity to serve into those markets. So today we're very much so focused on the D2C side, but that's automated. That flywheel is spinning in the background through what we call the Buy Direct platform. Every day, we might not even talk to someone, and we'll have $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 of online e-commerce checkouts for folks that we've never even had to talk to, because we made it easier than ever before to buy. So moving our efforts and focusing on those B2B relationships, that's critical. Expanding our markets to beyond residential, to commercial, to multifamily, to high density urban residential, to industrial, that's critical. That's actually the crux of where we're at today. To get there, and you mentioned a great question about the technical performance of our products, Hempitecture was actually the first company in the United States to take a hemp-based material and run it through what's called an ASTM E84 test. We proved with an ASTM E84 test that measures flame spread and smoke developed that this product generated 0 for both of those scores. That is the best possible score you can get next to concrete. Our other materials, natural fiber insulation, we do fortify the performance of natural fibers with bio-based fire retardants. We have a process in our production facility that takes the already resistant and incredible characteristics and properties of natural fibers and enhances them, makes them even more long-lasting. We can evoke certain properties out of the natural fibers with our treatments. So that helps us tap into further markets beyond the ASTM E84 test that I mentioned.
Great. Léa, what do you want to know?
Yeah, you've said it, Maddie. You're one of actually the only company doing that in the United States. And I really commend that because I think I've looked at about 2,000 deals in my career investing, and I can't tell you how many companies are claiming to be unique without being unique. So when Matthew tell you he is unique. But the other question that comes with that is, can that actually be successful? You know, and you've kind of mentioned why the United States is so late on other countries because of regulations. But can you give us an example of another market, maybe another country, where hemp isolation is successful, and how can you replicate that success in the United States?
Great questions. Thanks so much for that.
Maddie, let me ask you to be brief.
Yep, absolutely. I will be as brief as I can. There's great precedents in Europe right now for incredible M&A activity. Some of the largest insulation manufacturing companies in the world are buying up natural fiber insulation companies, basically the European analogs of Hempitecture. That's writing on the wall the 5-10 years out of what's coming to the United States. These European companies, we're already talking to them. They're interested in what we're doing. They're trying to understand how much capacity we can build out to support this industry in the United States, because they know it's going to explode.
Fantastic. We've got some great questions now from some of our online audience. So Leslie was wondering, do you see potential for modular or 3D printed hemp-based construction in the near future?
Leslie, thanks for the really awesome question. So in the world of modular, absolutely. Hempitecture is actually invested in by Onyx Modular Homes. They're a prefabricated home building company that will ultimately serve as an end buyer for our products. So that's going to be a great offtake agreement for us as they ramp up. Last year, they built 600 homes. In terms of 3D printing, yeah, absolutely. I think there's possibilities. One of the things that's interesting and nuanced about industrial hemp, so many different components from one plant. You have fiber, you have hurd, and you have what is called basically micronized dust. That micronized dust, that could certainly be injected into a 3D printing matrix that would be more viscous and free-flowing, that would allow a 3D printing head to lay down a wall and build a wall in a vertical fashion. So it's something that we have our eye on, not our core focus today, but I think an exciting frontier.
And we've got just a quick minute for a question from Jonathan Winkles. He asks, love what your team has accomplished. How do you keep VCs' eyes from glazing over when they hear the word agriculture or hemp?
Hey, thanks for the great question, Jonathan. I think agriculture is probably the easier side. Industrial hemp, it requires a little bit of education. But once you educate, once you say, hey, 1 acre of hemp versus 1 acre of trees captures this amount of carbon dioxide versus trees, and we get this amount of usable material at this cost. You really have to bring it down to the bottom line numbers. Go from the top, bring it down to the bottom. Our products make sense because industrial hemp can be economical to grow at scale. We're driving that scale. We're driving the agricultural acreage. And I think as we grow that supply chain, we bring down costs, that creates an even more compelling story for VCs to latch onto.
Excellent. And we've got a follow-up question from Leslie. She was asking, are you exploring AI, robotics, or blockchain for tracking material sustainability or streamlining production?
Awesome question, Leslie. 2 good ones tonight. I appreciate it. And you hit on something that's super exciting. And if I had more than 5 minutes in this presentation, probably would have covered it. But I mentioned our Buy Direct platform. That Buy Direct platform allows people to purchase insulation and have it shipped directly to their door. The next iteration of the Buy Direct platform beyond UX is really a chain of custody protocol. That chain of custody will track what field the fiber was grown in. Let's say it was grown in Rexburg, Idaho, what day it was brought to our facility, when it was converted into insulation, and quantify the carbon dioxide capture of the product that they have purchased. So maybe a little bit of a hybrid between blockchain and AI. We're working on developing an environmental product declaration to support the carbon quantification. And the vision here, Leslie, is when you go to checkout and you buy our product, you say, let's say you purchase 500 square feet, that's equivalent to 15 pounds of carbon dioxide. Directly on our platform, you'll be able to sell that carbon credit and get essentially a coupon or a redemption back for the value of that carbon. So certainly in the works and coming. Thanks for the great question.
It's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Listen, everybody, be sure to take a note of what you see on the screen. Invest at s4g.biz/hemp if you are interested in learning more. That'll take you directly to the WeFunder page for Hempitecture. So, Maddie, great job. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to take a quick break.
Supercrowd LA is the must-attend conference for impact investors, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn from experts who've raised millions, including Jason Fishman of DNA, Sarah Hardwick of The Crowd, and Doug Wilmore of WorldTree. Plus, a live pitch with top investment opportunities. Early bird pricing ends soon.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today. Struggling to raise capital for your business? Unlock the power of the crowd with AI. My free guide, Crowdfunding Made Simple, walks you through every step to success. Get funded smarter, faster. Scan the QR code now for your free download.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited to introduce you now to Michael Pratt, who is the CEO and founder of Qnetic. This is just such an exciting solution to battery storage. It's really an alternative to battery storage. So you do not want to miss this. This is really pretty amazing. All righty, Michael. Let's see, what have I done? Let's see, you're there. There we go. There we go. Now we're in business.
Hi, Doug.
Thank you very, very much. Michael, take it away.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm Michael Pratt from Qnetic. I'm here to tell you we have a much better technology for grid energy storage than chemical batteries. So to decarbonize the grid, picture an energy storage added to every substation everywhere. That's what the clean energy transition requires. Every dot on this map is a substation in California. There's 200 in Greater Sacramento alone, here shown in purple. So it's a massive undertaking, but it's $1 trillion plus opportunity that we're addressing. Now, today we use lithium-ion batteries, but their downsides contradict decarbonization. There are the environmental and human costs of extracting lithium and rare earths. And now lithium LFP is a China-controlled technology. The cells are imported from China, with massive new tariffs, by the way, with almost no US production. And the finished product is a severe fire risk. Recently, there was a huge fire at Moss Landing. The battery burned for 30 hours and affected 100,000 people. Now, Qnetic's technology solves these problems by eliminating electrochemicals entirely. Instead, we store a vast amount of energy mechanically in the form of kinetic energy. We store it in the supersonic spinning of a high-tech composite rotor. Now, Qnetic is half the lifetime cost of lithium-ion systems. But Qnetic's superpower is handling unlimited daily cycling with zero degradation. It's the infinite battery. The biggest weaknesses of lithium-ion batteries are fundamental ones: degradation and low cycle life. That's probably why you replaced your last iPhone. The battery died. This chart illustrates that most grid batteries are still young and just at the start of the great degradation. Now, battery OEMs try to hide this problem by limiting operators to discharging just once a day to stretch out calendar life. Now, this single cycle restriction is a problem for two reasons. As this chart shows, grids everywhere require twice daily cycling to match supply with demand. And secondly, which is really vital to understand, because battery operators make money by cycling. So Qnetic's multi-cycling capability multiplies revenue for operators. So we have signed customer letters of intent worth over $100 million. We successfully raised $2 million and filed 3 patents to build a moat around our core rotor and bearing innovations. And we built our scale prototype, proving our technologies and our unique design approach. It's successfully discharging back to the grid, but that is just the start. Our first serial product here, which we test this fall, manufacture in the US and bring to market in 12 months, will have 50 times the energy capacity at a groundbreaking 1 megawatt hour. That's 10x larger than other Qnetic products and enough for 250 US homes. Now, consider a story of 2 towns, each investing in energy storage. One buys lithium-ion batteries and the second invests in Qnetic. In the first town, they install 10% more batteries than they need to allow for capacity decline, and they're used once a day. But shortly after installation, they suffer the setback of a fire, causing cost and delays. After 5 years, due to that declining energy capacity, the operator augments the system by adding new containers. They repeat this a second time during its lifetime, then the system is too old for this to be economic. The capacity decline continues until end of life at 15 years. The whole system is disposed of and replaced. Meanwhile, in the other town, it's a different story. Qnetic costs less. It takes longer to install, but the people love it, since Qnetic is almost entirely hidden underground. The fire department are happy. Qnetic doesn't pose any fire or chemical risks, so planning is easy. Qnetic is cycled for 4 hours twice a day, every morning, every evening, so the operators are making their money back twice as fast. No matter how much they cycle it, Qnetic never degrades. There is no augmentation. And after 15 years, Qnetic Corporation replaces some electrical parts, and they continue operating for a further 15 years. After these 3 decades of Qnetic's continual operation, the first town is meanwhile preparing to install their 3rd round of lithium batteries. So I ask you, in which technology would you rather invest at the ground floor? People just like you already invested nearly $1 million in our current raise, closing in just a few short weeks. This funds delivery to our first US grid customers, bringing us to revenue and the start of production. So I welcome you to join the #1's climate tech VC, SOSV, and be an early investor in the kinetic energy revolution. You can contact me by email here for more information. So thank you very much for your time, and happy to take questions from the panel.
Excellent. Well, we're thrilled. Great presentation, Michael. Let's see. Woody, do you want to kick it off this time? Woody, I think you're muted. Let's see if we can adjust that.
How about that? I was saying this is wild. You know, we've heard people talking about disrupting energy storage forever. Like this is like the thing. But let's be honest, you know, are you reinventing the wheel or are you making it spin faster? I mean, that's where I was just like blown away with what you're doing. I'm confused. Is the one that you've built the one that you're going to market with, or is there a larger version, aka the image that you had of the two towns, where you've got the ones in the ground, and that is something that you're building towards?
Yeah, so what we've built so far is a scale prototype. It stands about 2.5 meters tall, so you can walk up to it and put your arms around it. For us, it's a baby size, but compared to other Qnetic systems already on the market, it's about the same. So the benchmark product today is 32 kilowatt hours, and our lab scale prototype is 20 kilowatt hours, so the same ballpark. Where we're going is orders of magnitude bigger. So we're building a prototype later on this year that'll be 500 kilowatt hours, and then what we're going to take to market will be 1 megawatt hour. So that brings it into a completely different category of flywheel energy storage systems. Actually, all of the products that we can see in the market in the past, because flywheel energy storage systems are not really a new idea, are really a much, much smaller scale. We see these high volume products that are used for backup power in data centers and telecommunications, and those are the high volume but very small systems. They're very expensive and they're intended for power, not for energy. We see this one long duration product that I just mentioned that's a very small capacity, but nonetheless long duration and meant for the grid. And then the only really large energy capacity systems we see are these one-off systems that are used in labs to run tokamaks and things like that. So they provide a large amount of energy over a short period of time. So nobody has put these three things together until Qnetic came along.
Great.
Léa, do you want to go?
Yes. I was actually lucky to meet Michael, I believe about 2 or 3 years ago during your first raise. And at the time, it was kind of an idea on paper, well, a little bit more than that. There was some serious math behind it. And I was a strong believer in it, but I remember people around me I was talking to say, well, look, this is super early, this is super risky. I still thought that you will come back to me a couple of years later with a prototype, which you did. But what I didn't expect is that you will also come back with more than $100 million in letters of intent. And I am super impressed by that progress. Now, I want to understand, what was your strategy to get these LOIs, and how can you actually convert them into actual sales? What is the path to really acquire the customers?
Yeah, okay. So actually the accumulation of the LOIs happened really through our network, so somewhat organically. And this year we're going to put a serious amount of effort into building up even more customers. What we found though is the response is great. Quite different to investors actually. I have to say that most investors are stuck in the idea of cost. What does lithium ion cost versus sodium ion versus any other new battery technology you might care to name? And what does Qnetic look like? But that's not the way customers think. The operators of batteries consider that cost, of course, is important, but that's not really their primary concern. What they're really concerned about is reliability and how they can get value from the product. So if you're a battery operator, you'll get the land and you pull together different technologies, inverters, the batteries and so on. And then once the site is commissioned, what's it worth to you? Either you're going to operate that for 15, 20 years, or you're going to sell that to someone else who's going to operate it. So you really care about the value of the product, or the project, sorry, not just what the cost was to install it. So for Qnetic, it's all about being able to unlock the door to multiple cycles every day. And we can do that because we don't have the degradation problem. That's a major limitation on lithium-ion batteries. Degradation means you have to be very careful with cycling, which means you're not getting value from the product that you really could. So customers get that quite instantly and like, okay, wow, we can get much more out of Qnetic than we can from lithium-ion batteries. So they get excited and they want the product.
Excellent, excellent. Paul, what are you wondering about Qnetic?
Yeah, I mean, this is physics 101. A body in motion stays in motion. And, you know, when I first saw your offering, the idea of a flywheel intuitively felt right as an effective way to store energy. Now, I have read what critics say of renewable energy, specifically storage, which is renewable energy won't solve anything. The scale of storage required isn't possible from a cost perspective. Wind and solar are great on the margins and for virtue signaling, but you need reliable, dispatchable power for the vast bulk of your energy needs. My question is, are the critics right? Or what do you know that these critics don't?
Right. Certainly we do need a massive amount of energy storage, and that really speaks to the size of the opportunity. So there's multi-terawatts that are required globally. So there's a huge opportunity there, but it's definitely achievable. We're going to need something like 250 gigawatt hours a year of new energy storage all the way through to 2050. And obviously no one company could ever deliver all of that volume. So there's plenty of room for different technologies, and we are entering a market where it's an expanding market. So we're intending to get as much of that segment as we can as it expands. Really, it's all about manufacturing scale. And one of the benefits of Qnetic's technology over things like lithium-ion batteries or other battery chemistries you may care to think about is that we don't have the supply chain bottlenecks. We don't have the mineral mining problems. We don't have the supply chain bottlenecks through China. There's an 80 or 90% chance that a cell in any battery system, whether it's stationary storage or whether it's a vehicle, has gone through China. So this creates major constraints on deployment and expansion of energy storage. But Qnetic uses carbon fiber, not electrochemicals. Now, carbon fiber is really pioneered in the US and Japan. So there's manufacturing in Europe and the US and Japan at high volumes and the same quality and somewhat similar cost. And also the production volumes in the world are going up massively. This is really driven by aerospace, automotive, the wind turbine industry and such. So we're riding on the coattails of this trend. And the rest of the product is made from traditional engineering materials, steel and aluminium. So our ability to expand does not have the bottlenecks that lithium-ion batteries have.
So you're benefiting from the economies of scale to really drive down the cost of your product.
Yeah, absolutely. And particularly around carbon fiber, what you're finding over time is that the cost of carbon fiber is coming down, but the performance of carbon fiber is going up. So actually what you're doing is you're hitting both sides of the equation, dollars per kilowatt hour. As the costs come down, the dollars come down. As the strength improves, then that actually enables you to store more energy. So that's a win-win for us.
That's great. I'm excited. We've got a great question from Leslie Baer again. Leslie asks, how modular is Qnetic's Qnetic battery system? Could it be deployed in decentralized microgrids for self-sustaining communities like regenerative villages or eco-resorts? Great question.
It is, yeah. And the answer is absolutely. So one way that we like to think about it is it's a bit like a mass-produced pumped hydro storage. Our product is designed to be mass-produced. It's designed to be easily fit onto a truck and can be transported and installed anywhere, which means you can put anything from one unit to hundreds of units all together, depending on the amount of energy storage you need for a particular project. You saw in the rendering lots of those white domes in the grass. So there was, I think, 80 systems put together to form a grid-scale battery that would sit on the outskirts of a town or city. So that can be sized according to the size of the community that it powers. So it's been designed from the beginning to be modular.
That's great. Now, folks, let me call your attention to the fact that we have just a minute for another question from the crowd here. Visit s4g.biz to submit a question, or if you prefer, submit it in the comments if you are watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, or elsewhere on social media. We've got we're streaming all over the internet. I think it's probably hard to miss the live pitch right now. It seems like, because we're in so many places. I think we're in streaming to 10 places, and the YouTube's videos are playing in a variety of places. Plus, we're on E360 TV. But if you're watching on television, and the bulk of our audience is, submit questions at s4g.biz/question, or just scan that QR code that you see at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Since I don't see another question, let me just submit one myself, if I may, Michael. The question I have is, I wonder if you'd explain the technology. I think there's a vacuum component involved, and I wonder if you just kind of explain how you use this technology. Just walk us through the fundamentals of the mechanics itself.
Okay, so we're acting like a battery. So we're not creating energy. What we're doing is we're charging using electrical energy, and the way that we charge is we convert that electrical energy to kinetic energy in the form of rotation of our rotor. So the faster that rotor is spinning, the more energy it stores. Now, our goal then is to avoid that energy from dissipating. So if you were to take any object and if you were to go to outer space and then spin it, that thing would spin for eternity. So what we're trying to do is recreate those conditions back on Earth. So what we do is we suck out all of the air. So we eliminate as far as possible the air friction losses. And the second thing we do is we suspend the rotor entirely magnetically. So it's floating on a magnetic cushion, and also in the radial direction, we are aligning the rotor using electromagnets. So when it's running, it has zero mechanical contact and zero wear, and of course, no mechanical losses. We just have very small amount of energy losses through magnetic eddy currents and some electrical consumption of the system itself. So that means it will keep spinning for about a month.
Wow, that's really pretty amazing. Well, listen, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here. But when we come back, we'll have our last pitch. Michael, thank you very much. Let me remind everyone, invest at s4g.biz/Qnetic or scan that QR code in the corner there to visit the WeFunder page and invest right now.
Supercrowd LA is the must-attend conference for impact investors, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn from experts who've raised millions, including Jason Fishman of DNA, Sarah Hardwick of The Crowd, and Doug Wilmore of WorldTree. Plus, a live pitch with top investment opportunities. Early bird pricing ends soon.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding. The book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Savikas raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy.
Welcome back, everyone. We're so excited. I'm thrilled now to be able to introduce you to Sana Gaspard, Dr. Sana Gaspard. She is the CEO and founder of Rubitection. This is a company that's just doing amazing things, but to detect deteriorating skin from bed sores and the like. Sana is also, she got her PhD at Carnegie Mellon University. She's a brilliant entrepreneur. We're thrilled to have her. So stick around. You don't want to miss this. And when she's done, we'll be voting. So you stick around, everyone. You don't want to miss any of this. Okay, Sana, let's get you set up here correctly. Put your slides up there, and I think you're ready to go.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Sana Gaspard, CEO and founder of Rubitection. I have my doctorate in biomedical engineering. I've applied those skills to develop an optical tool for skin health assessment with the vision of targeting the $36 billion, largely untapped skincare monitoring market. I'm initially starting in the chronic wound care space because it's a large and growing market where we can improve care for patients like John. John survived open heart surgery, but came out of it with the beginning of inflammation on his bottom. It would quickly advance to a severe wound where his skin was gone, leaving his bone exposed and ultimately leading to his passing. John is just one of the 2 million Americans who will develop these chronic wounds every year, 60,000 of whom will die needlessly, while costing the US healthcare system $26 billion each year. So common and expensive is this condition that it's made Medicare's top 10 list of conditions for which it penalizes hospitals millions of dollars each year. Despite that, it's still on the rise. At Rubitection, we're addressing this problem at its core, the unreliable early detection test. We're solving that with the Rubitect assessment system, which is an optical tool to allow anybody to detect the condition at its earliest stage and monitor it accurately through advanced wound detection. We do that by combining optics and image processing and AI to develop customized measurement of inflammation at the skin, the same measurement clinicians are currently making with their eye. We then process that to do data-driven care plans and enable remote patient monitoring, not readily available currently. That helps improve the efficiency of care management and patient outcomes, avoids Medicare penalties, and can help reduce costs by up to 96% through early intervention. Compared to our competition, we're 75 to 90% cheaper, we're more comprehensive, and we are easier to use. Will allow us to dominate a $4.3 billion US market, where our initial entry point is in the hospital market. There, we sell our product using a razor blade business model, where we make recurring revenue from a high volume use cover, which targets the 30 million patients who pass through the hospital system every year. With this model, we have a total addressable market of $480 million a year just on the disposable. With a 10% market capture, we can have $48 million a year. The reason why hospitals would be willing to pay that, which is approximately $60,000 to $80,000 a year per hospital, is because they're already paying up to $7 million a month, potentially out of pocket on just treating wounds. And with the implementation of our technology, they can take that cost and transfer it to revenue. To get to market, we have a clear plan. We're currently focused on prototype development and pilot testing before moving on to product development and initial sales to our beta testers, with the goal of fully launching with the support of strategic sales and distribution partners. We've already engaged with those partners who provided letters of interest because we meet a market void. We also have a growing pipeline of potential customers, which includes hospitals and nursing homes who've already began contacting us to purchase the technology or clinically collaborate. We've already raised $1 million in non-dilutive funding. We've used that to build a prototype of the measurement device. Initial testing shows that it can measure those diagnostic markers on all skin tones, opening up the product to the broader global market. We've also built an initial prototype of our click-through care management platform, which allows users to monitor changes in the skin and develop customized patient care plans. The team behind Rubitection includes myself, I'm the CEO and founder. Dr. Hines develops the custom algorithms, and Michael Schilling supports prototype design and fabrication. We surrounded ourselves with a team of experts ranging from regulatory, wound care expertise, and medical device operations. As a team, we're excited to bring the solution to market and build a profitable company while improving patient outcomes, where we can drive revenue to over $290 million within 5 to 6 years of launching the product on the market through the support of strategic sales and distribution partners, making us an excellent investment opportunity because the large players in this space innovate through acquisition at 3 to 7x revenue. To achieve that goal, we're currently raising a financing round, of which we already have half committed from strategic partners like AARP. We'll use that to support technology development, FDA engagement, and engage with a broader clinical pipeline. And today, we're providing an exclusive opportunity for everyone here today to be a part of our success early by investing in our WeFunder campaign. And with that, I hope you can join us in doing well while doing good, because no one should have to die from a preventable wound. With our technology, we can empower anyone with the ability to detect them early to reduce costs and save lives while building a profitable company. Thank you, and I'll open it up now to any questions you may have.
Fantastic. Great work. Great work. Really appreciate you sharing your presentation with us. Let me invite the judges onto the screen now. Let's see. There they are. Léa, do you want to get us started again?
Sure. Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Gaspard. So I've seen a lot of healthcare-related startups raising online. And what is really exciting about yours is that your product is actually close to commercialization. So that's a very good point. We can also see you have a great team. You have been, studying this through your PhD. So I know that you know what you're doing. Now, I also understand that there are two types of competition. One, the current technique for nurses is to do kind of that finger test where they would just touch the skin, which is absolutely unreliable, especially on darker skin tones. The other solution is you do have a couple competitors on the market. Now, what I want to understand is how are you different from these competitors? How are you better? And how have you been able to do a technology that they have not been able to develop?
Right. So that's a great questions and great points. So first, I would mention that we already have 2 secured patents on this technology to cover the combination of sensors and the applications to several medical conditions, from chronic wounds to chronic derm to cosmetics. We're just starting in the chronic derm or wound care space. Our primary differentiator is that we're using a low-cost, non-invasive optical approach to do that skin assessment, and we combine that with AI to allow both early assessment and advanced wound tracking, where our competitors have chosen to either focus on early skin assessment or advanced wound management, where if a hospital was looking for a comprehensive solution, they would have to buy 2 other devices if they were purchasing our competitors, where they can achieve the same thing with a single device, which would be our device, which is, 70% cheaper than the competitors, where you would have to buy 2 separate devices to achieve the same kind of assessment.
Great. Woody, do you want to go next?
Sure. Great presentation. This is personal for me because my father had a bed sore and died of sepsis related to it when he was in a nursing home. So as I was reviewing this, I thought, wow, how powerful would it have been to have this technology in that nursing home? But there's one thing that we all know about hospitals, about insurance companies. They all like to say no. They just don't want to do this. And I get the fact that you have the ability to save them $7 million, up to $7 million a month. But how do you break through that red tape and get the widespread adoption that this is going to need?
That's a great question, Woody. I would say first, as I mentioned in the presentation, hospitals and nursing homes have already been contacting us to purchase the solution just from initially seeing our patent, even before we had a website. That's how unmet this need is. The other strong market driver is that this is a highly regulated space where every month they have to report their bed sore wounds to Medicare. And that affects not only their annual payments, but it will affect the penalties that they get at the end of the year. But it then also determines if insurance or Medicare will cover that cost of payment or if they have to pay for it out of pocket. Not to mention the fact that thinking of your loved one, this is generally, unfortunately, a sign of negligent care. And as so, you have the right to sue the facility. So in this current state of manual early detection, if you were to sue them, you would win by default because they have no actual data to show that they did the required assessment, that they did the skin assessment properly, and that the appropriate care was administered at the appropriate times based on that person's skin health assessment. And so there are several drivers in this market that are driving potential customers to seek us out. I had one just a couple months ago and they wanted it like right now. And I was like, I can't give it to you right now because, technically right now that's not allowed. But they were so annoyed that they couldn't have it right now that they didn't even want to clinically collaborate. I was like, okay, well, this is crazy. But, there's a lot of unmet need. It's just that you don't hear about it often because it's a legal liability for facilities, where if families are informed and aware and educated about it, they can start suing the facilities.
Great. Paul, what do you want to know about this one?
Yeah, when I was reviewing this offering, I was super surprised to find out that the darker the skin color, the more likely it is to have serious complications from chronic skin wounds.
Yeah.
And your product addresses just that.
Yeah.
I love that. It not only bridges the disparity gap, but your device can improve healthcare for all skin tones. Just wonderful. I also read that the funds raised in this round will be used to support technology development and to expand your team.
Yes.
What tech exactly needs to be developed, and what roles will you be hiring for to expand your team?
Okay, wonderful question. So right now we have a functional prototype of the hardware system. We have a click-through prototype of the care management platform, and we are developing the AI algorithms that add additional information and supports the computer vision. Hello?
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Keep going.
Supports computer vision. Sorry, it just went out on my screen. And supports computer vision. So what the roles we're looking to hire is a technology development director. Though I've been overseeing the technology development so far, I have to now focus on building the commercial pipeline. And I'm looking to hire someone to oversee the technology development. We need a clinical research coordinator to manage the clinical outreach that we will have both inbound and outbound. And then a business development director who will support some of the additional strategic partnerships we want to build, both on the wound care side with some of the large wound care companies we've already engaged with, as well as with exploring new markets, both internationally, because we've had some companies reach out to us who are international, who are looking for more better ways to monitor skin conditions as well as wounds. And then also to explore additional markets in the dermatology space. So we've also had large biopharma companies reach out to us to explore how our technology could be used as a companion diagnostic to some of their prescriptions for atopic dermatitis or vitiligo. And so I would like to have another business development person on to start exploring those additional markets and building out potential partnerships in those pipelines as well.
Excellent. Excellent. We've got a couple of great questions from Leslie Bear again. Let me just break this down and we'll ask one of the questions, Santa, and then we'll come back to the other. But could this AI-driven skin monitoring tech be expanded into full body biometric wellness tracking, integrating with other health data for preventive care?
Yes. So the initial usage for the system is to support prevention, as well as then support advanced wound tracking and management. In terms of using it for whole body assessment, that is what it's used for right now, because you have about 6 to 8 spots on your body if you were to get into an accident today on your way home, that you would be at risk for developing a wound, basically in the ambulance, while you're waiting in the ICU, or while you're in recovery at the hospital. And so as a result, on admission, they would check your skin. While you were in the ICU, they would check your skin twice a day on those 8 different sites all over your body. If the question is about scanning the whole body at once, that's not necessarily the goal, because we need the patient to be unclothed or in the nude to be able to access their skin and evaluate skin inflammation and track that over time, but it's already designed to be used across all parts of the body. And we've already tested that it works on all parts of the body.
Excellent. Let's follow up. Her second question is, how do you plan to navigate regulatory hurdles to accelerate adoption in wellness centers and alternative healthcare?
So our initial target is hospitals, nursing homes, rehab. From a regulatory standpoint, we already have a predicate device that has gone through the regulatory process and has gotten approval using a low risk pathway as a class 1 510K device, which is the lowest FDA pathway. So we are pretty confident we can also get a similar designation, because it's a similar intended use of the device in terms of evaluating skin health. So that's a pretty I don't want to say straightforward, but there's a clear path there from a regulatory standpoint. From a wellness standpoint, I was talking to a dermatologist recently, and what their thought process was about how this could be implemented into wellness is oftentimes for people who are at risk for skin cancer, they're advised to wear sunscreen, but they have no way to determine if the sunscreen is really working, if they're actually getting some of that skin damage and inflammation, to know whether their application is effective, or if they need to do it more often or switch to a new sunscreen. Where our device can be a quantitative tool to help monitor some of that inflammation due to sun damage, where they can identify, okay, today let's say the ROS number was 4. I went out for the weekend, I came back, I'm now at a 6, it's going up, I need to apply more sunscreen or use a different brand that's stronger to prevent that skin and sun damage. And that would most likely be a straight to consumer play as a wellness tool to support overall skin health. And talking to the dermatologist and doing some market research around that with surveying customers, there's a strong desire and need for that.
Excellent. If you'll forgive me, Santa, I'll ask a question here as we have just a minute or two. So years ago, I went to see a dermatologist, and every year he'd have me come in and he'd zap these precancerous growths off my face. Now, the interesting thing about these precancerous growths was I could never see them. He swore they were there, but I always wondered if they were really there. So then I went to see other dermatologists. I've been to two since, and they both say I don't have any precancerous growths on my face, even though every year the other dermatologist said I did. Now, I figure I probably don't have any precancerous growth on my face because two have said I don't. But there's still a little part of me that says, what if they're missing it? I think AI has the potential to be sort of objective and maybe even better at diagnosing problems like this. With respect to the wound care and things, do you see the AI potentially being better than humans can be?
The short answer to that is yes. But I think what's more important in terms of doing some of that image processing is to actually have a physical measurement of the skin. Because even if you have an image that diagnoses, what will happen is that it will send you back to the doctor, who will still do the physical assessment and then request a biopsy if they think there's something there. If they still don't think there's something there, depending on the accuracy of the AI, they would just tell you nothing is there, or they don't think there's need for further assessment. And that still leads to a visual assessment and manual assessment being the bottleneck. What's really important is to couple that with physical measurements of the skin. So there are very specific vascular changes that occur when you're developing skin cancer, because this cancer needs to grow so quickly. It recruits more blood than the surrounding area. Where I think for AI to really supersede a dermatologist, it has to be combined with physical skin measurements, which our device can do. So together to give a comprehensive assessment. So when you go into the dermatologist, he knows for sure yes or no, and that he's not relying on subjective assessment of visually inspecting your skin post screening with the AI to figure out what he should do next.
Let me just pop this up on the screen. A great tip from Vanessa Lowe about raising capital, perhaps from Portfolios Rising America 2 Fund. So make a note of that. Actually, you can check the replay to get these details again when we're done. But we're going to take a quick break here. But before we go, let me just remind you all to visit Invest. So you can invest at s4g.biz/Ruby, that RUBI. That'll get you to the WeFunder page directly where you can learn more or invest in Rubitection. Dr. Santa, thank you so much for being with us. We wish you every success with your raise. We're going to take a quick break now, so stick around. The voting will begin shortly.
Supercrowd LA is the must-attend conference for impact investors, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn from experts who've raised millions, including Jason Fishman of DNA, Sarah Hardwick of The Crowd, and Doug Wilmore of WorldTree. Plus, a live pitch with top investment opportunities. Early bird pricing ends soon.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today. Struggling to raise capital for your business? Unlock the power of the crowd with AI. My free guide, Crowdfunding Made Simple, walks you through every step to success. Get funded smarter, faster. Scan the QR code now for your free download.
Welcome back, everyone. It's so exciting here. We are now at the final stage here. We're going to ask each of our pitching entrepreneurs. Whoops, I did something wrong here. I got the wrong folks here. But stick around. I'll get this fixed out. But we're going to remove our judges and add our pitching entrepreneurs. So let's see. We got to get Maddie back on. Add to pay. And yeah. Look. Okay. So we're going to go in the following order the reverse order that we started in. So we finished with Dr. Sana Gaspard, and she is going to be our beginning closing argument deliverer. So we're going to give each of our entrepreneurs 1 minute to close their argument for why they deserve to be your choice to receive the Super Crowd Award winner, why they deserve to be the judge's choice, and why, of course, above all, everyone should be investing in their deals. So we'll turn the time over now to Dr. Sana Gaspard.
All right, thank you. So every year, 60,000 people die from chronic wounds as a complications from stroke, falls, or Alzheimer's, costing the U.S. healthcare system $26 billion. These deaths are largely preventable with accurate early detection and management tools. However, the early standard test is manual and unreliable. At Rubitection, we're transforming skincare with the Rubitect assessment system to provide an optical way to monitor inflammation in the skin and track it over time. My vision is to empower all caregivers, whether they're at home, hospital, nursing home, with our technology addressing a $4.3 billion market. To date, we've already built a functional prototype. We have hospitals reaching out to us to purchase. We have LOIs from strategic sales and distribution partners, and we've already raised half of our current round with potential strategics like AARP. With our future strategic sales and distribution partners, we can grow this company to over 200 million within 6 to 7 years of launching the product on the market. We're giving you an opportunity to invest early today through our WeFunder campaign, and I hope you can join our success. If you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. And so our next presenter will be Michael from Qnetics.
Thanks, Devin.
Michael, go ahead.
So you might like our energy storage technology, but how can you know that we're going to be successful? Now, fulfilling our mission means building the best possible energy storage and massively scaling manufacturing and sales in US, Europe, and Asia, and growing to $1 billion corporation. But will customers buy it? Now, Qnetic's CapEx will be cheaper than lithium-ion batteries, but honestly, that's not the key thing here. Think about this from a customer's perspective. Now, compared to lithium-ion batteries, Qnetic has 3x the cycle life, half the lifetime cost, but zero degradation. But our killer feature is that we unlock the door to multi-cycling and higher revenues. Customers tell us they'll be willing to pay a premium for Qnetic to take advantage of these features. So I invite you now to our WeFunder page to invest in Qnetic while you have the chance to support our mission to enable clean, sustainable energy. And you can contact me there or on LinkedIn to discuss it further. So thank you very much.
Michael, that's a very compelling pitch. Now we're going to turn the time over to Maddie from Hempitecture. Maddie, take it away.
Hey, Devin, thanks for passing it over to me for the closing. At Hempitecture, we're on a mission to change the way the world builds. We're replacing toxic carbon-intensive with materials with natural fiber materials made from American-grown hemp. We're applying our technology and our natural fiber supply chain to other industries like automotive, thermal packaging, and more. What started out as a dorm room idea has grown into a thriving company with a state-of-the-art U.S. manufacturing facility, partnerships with top builders and architects, and products that are actively reducing carbon emissions. We've shipped our products to nearly all 50 states. We've sold over $2 million of material in 2024, and we're set to double that in 2025. Our materials, they store carbon instead of emitting it, helping fight climate change. But this isn't just about our climate. This is about American manufacturing. This is about American agriculture and reducing our reliance on imported materials. The new administration says they want jobs. That's just part of what we deliver. Hempitecture has been featured in Fast Company, Forbes, the New York Times, and more. We're backed by the Department of Energy, New York State, Tennessee Department of Ag, and thousands of investors who believe in our vision. Now,
excellent. Thank you very much. The time is up. Now it's Luke's time. Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate your pitch. Luke, you're muted. Take it away.
Sorry, Maddie. But thank you all for your time today. I really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more about Arro and how we're bringing inclusion to the lending space and making credit more accessible. For the past 4 years, we've been building incredible technology to help increase financial resilience and financial mobility for people all around the world, and have cracked the code on behavioral underwriting. We've proven that the Arro platform is effective, that our customers love using it, and that we can scale the business. To date, we've raised more than $11 million from top venture capitalists in San Francisco and LA, and are poised for substantial growth as we look to the rest of 2025 and beyond. I invite you to join our group of top-tier investors in supporting Arro's mission as we change credit for good. We'll be closing our WeFunder campaign soon, so please reach out to me directly if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to chat. My email is luke@arrowfinance.com. Thanks so much for your time.
All righty. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate y'all tuning in. And I want to congratulate all of our entrepreneurs tonight. You've all done a phenomenal job. You've all made a compelling argument for why an investment makes sense in what you're doing. I love all of these opportunities. I wish I had infinite amounts of money and could put it to work in all of what you're doing. I can't wait to get myself a little bit of Hempitecture. I'm hoping I don't need to have Rubitection technology anytime soon, but the reality is I hope it's there when I need it. And I'm excited, about what I see from Qnetics. My gosh, the world desperately needs a better solution than lithium-ion batteries. And, so I think we just have, some amazing, compelling arguments. And, what you're doing at Arro with education around finance, so vitally important for everyone. So we've just got 4 great stories for you tonight. I encourage you strongly to visit WeFunder, explore these 4 offerings thoughtfully and carefully, and decide how you'll invest your money. A little in all 4, or if you'll put it all on one. But I encourage you to be smart and be thoughtful and to consider these opportunities seriously. Now, we're going to begin our voting. So all of you who are watching on television, you are invited to choose our Super Crowd Audience Choice Award. And the way that this works is that you will vote you just visit s4g.biz/vote. That's s4g.biz/vote. And you can vote there. So it'll be great. Let's see, what have I done here? See if I can get this back. But in any case, s4g.biz/vote, you can see that on the screen. And I invite you to do that. We're now going to bring our judges onto the screen and ask the judges to begin their deliberation in public here, as they will be choosing their choice for the Judges' Choice Award. So that will all be happening at the same time. So I want to encourage you all, if you are watching on television, to go ahead and vote at s4g.biz/vote while the judges deliberate their choice. And it does look like we really do have a little bit of a tech problem. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on here. Judges, I think you are there, but you're not showing up. I wonder, heaven forbid, what is going on?
Well, we can talk it through, can't we?
Yes, it sounds like we can hear you. So let me invite the judges to go ahead and proceed. Chandon, let me invite you to keep the voting guide on there, and let's hope that the problem we're experiencing resolves itself. But I think, Paul, Léa, Woody, take it away.
Let's go. You see at the very beginning, I think Paul and I say that we already had reviewed for on funds or personal investments some of these companies. So I would be very curious to hear first what Woody thinks about the 4 deals we just talked tonight.
Okay, wow. These were 4 impressive companies. And it's always hard when we have to do this because two of them are sort of working in the same space. The other two definitely aren't, but they're all doing things that have such a great impact. I was considering how these four companies compare on their go-to-market strategy. Like, are they ready to make money? As an investor, I definitely want to invest in companies that are up and running and going because it's lower risk. Not that we don't invest in pre-revenue companies, but it's always takes a little bit of the risk out when you know that they've got customers. The other way that I was considering it was considering it based on the market size, like how big could this company get compared to what they're saying that the total addressable market is. And the third one is what kind of like socioeconomic impact or really social impact do these companies have? And so, I did my own little matrix of the four of them, and I ranked them in each of those different categories. And I got tied. I have to be honest. I was tied with Hempitecture and Qnetic as my top two. I feel like, Hempitecture has got this go-to-market. They're already there. So they can just continue to expand, which I really liked. I see, clearly there's an opportunity for this, and I could see how they could scale this faster. But when it came to the market and the social side of things, the impact side, I thought Qnetic probably had sort of the biggest opportunity for me. Like, if people are really going to be shifting away from lithium ion, and what he's saying is true, then that market potential I thought was greatest. And I thought that type of impact would be greatest as well. Again, right below both of those was Hempitecture for me. I don't want to discount either Arro or Rubitection. We're even diligencing Rubitection coming up. So I love the idea and all that. It's just I've sort of felt those other two might have scored higher for me.
Let me just insert while we're having technical problems that we've got 5 minutes to go to vote. So you still have 5 minutes to go to vote, and that also, judges, is your 5 minutes to decide.
Léa, do you want to go?
Sure. Well, I really agree with what Woody said right here. We have four companies that do have an impact. Two of them already have revenue, Arro and Hempitecture. Two of them are still not commercializing, Qnetic and Rubitection. But at the same time, these companies that are not really commercializing, I feel, are in spaces that are maybe a little bit less competitive or a little bit more needed. What I really like about Hempitecture and what really, as I said, surprised me is that there is a lot of, I thought there was skepticism around hemp insulation, and then realized that the company has been able to grow its revenue very quickly to up to $2 million. And some big ones are interested in working with them. Kind of similarly for Qnetic that I've been following as well. It's just amazing to see how, even if flywheels already exist in the market, these are very limited flywheels. It's about 4 hours flywheels. And so they don't really fill the gap that Qnetic is trying to fill to provide longer duration energy storage for up to 12 hours, which could help sustain through the night, the rain, or when renewable energy can't really produce enough energy. So all four impressive companies here. Let's hear what you have to say, Paul, and then maybe at the end quickly shout here what are our individual choices.
Sure. So whenever I pick an investment to an offering to investment for myself or for a client, there are really four things I look at. Number one, first and foremost, does this company or product align with my values? And all four of them check that box, no problem. Super easy to check. The second one is risk reward ratio. I have to say that all of these four companies also check this box, at least within the right range. The next thing I look at is asset allocation. Do I need to have this other type of investment vehicle, whether it's fixed income, equity, real estate, or whatever it is? And all four of these companies fit in my asset allocation for my portfolio. So that box gets checked. Finally, it's time horizon. When do I think I'll actually see the reward for me taking this risk? And for that, I see one company standing out of the four as the quickest to see something, and that's Rubitection. My wife works at a hospital. She's a physician, and I know exactly this business model that Rubitection's doing. I see the path. Dr. Sana has laid out every single step. I see the start, the finish, and especially the finish, and I see that happening sooner than all the other companies. So just from that edge, the investment horizon, I'm going to go with Rubitection.
So what do we do?
Well, I do have second place, and my second place pick was who I thought gave the best presentation tonight. And I had one. I thought it was going to be one, but it turned out to be Hempitecture. I thought they Maddie just delivered. They all did really good, but Maddie stepped up, and I really enjoyed his pitch. I loved it, how he answered questions. So that would be my second place vote.
I do agree that Maddie was really an exceptional pitcher tonight. He really did a great job. Now, I'm like Woody, I'm pretty tired. I think if I really have to choose, and Devin is just forcing us to do that, but happy to do it. My number one choice will go for Qnetic, simply because I feel like the market opportunity is larger and a little bit fast growing than any other companies here. And I do think that the return can be greater. Not dismissing any other company, but that would be my pick. So Woody.
Oh, wow. I can't believe you're leaving this on me. Maddie killed it. He just did an amazing job. I was thoroughly impressed with his ability to deliver the details, the knowledge. It sold me on it. Qnetic blew me away in terms of just the potential of what this means for us and how transformative it could be. That, I've got that personal experience with Rubitection. I literally can see this in the nursing home. I did have a couple remaining questions for Rubitection, which is the only reason why I wouldn't put that at the top of my list, but I probably would, I'd probably go with Léa and say Qnetic would be the top of my list, even though Maddie did an amazing job. I just think the opportunity at the end of the day might be the one with Qnetic for me.
Well, that was very difficult and tight, but thank you, Paul and Woody, for getting us to come to a closure here. I'm really, really excited to see what the public will be voting on, and I believe the choice they will make will be great as well.
Agreed. Devin, you still there? Okay. Well,
I'm back. What is the judge's choice? Let me ask you to recap. Léa, maybe you could be the spokesman for the group. What is the final decision?
Yeah, so at first, Woody and I were both tied on Hempitecture and Qnetic. And Paul had Rubitection as number one, Hempitecture as number two. And finally, the final votes are 1 for Rubitection and 2 votes for Qnetic. So it looks like Qnetic is the judge choices tonight.
Excellent. Hey, look, and some of us are on screen. Look at that. So let's see if we can get more of us on screen here. Look at, oh my gosh. And StreamYard has resurrected itself for us. So we'll give you 10 more seconds on the voting, 10 seconds to go on the voting. And so get your votes in, 5 seconds to go, 5 seconds to go, and then we will end the voting there. Okay, 1-0. We are now done. We are not accepting any more votes. And so the winner of the Audience Choice Award, the Super Crowd Award, is Hempitecture. So that's pretty great. Congratulations, Hempitecture. We're happy for you. Way to go. Maddie, let me just invite you to come on and say just a word or two. So, Maddie, are you there? Yeah. Why
Sure
don't you
am.
add a moment, and then we'll ask Qnetic to ask Michael to say a word too, as the Judge's Choice Award.
Great. Well, first off, hats off to Michael and the team at Qnetic. Well done. Super promising industry and great space. Appreciate the crowd coming out for our crowd nomination. So I appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully we'll see y'all on our WeFunder page as proud investors in Hempitecture.
Excellent. Michael?
Yeah, well, delighted to win the judges' vote. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciated the comments and hearing the deliberations. I think the thing that struck me there was people talking about the size of the impact. And definitely when we founded the company, the whole purpose was to do a fundamental good. And we thought that tackling climate change with energy storage was the right thing to do. So yeah, great to hear that. And I feel very proud having won that, especially amongst such excellent audience. Excellent colleagues here with the other founders. So fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this has just been a great evening. I want to recognize and thank our judges. The judges have put in dozens of hours reading and reviewing materials. We did a dress rehearsal yesterday. They spent hours coaching and mentoring our presenters to help them be ready to go today. Léa, Paul, Woody, thank you so much. We just couldn't do this without you. You're an essential part of this, and we're so grateful for your time here. I want to congratulate all of the presenters. It's absolutely clear that all of these investments are compelling investment opportunities. I hope that all of you will give some consideration. All of you who are watching will give some consideration to the opportunities to invest there. We're excited about that. I want to announce, and I want to make sure that all of you who presented tonight are paying attention to this announcement because this pertains to you too. But we will be hosting a live pitch in at our Supercrowd Los Angeles. Supercrowd Los Angeles, May 1st and 2nd. And the application window for the live pitch at that event opened an hour ago. So you can be among the first. But if you are watching and you're an entrepreneur as well as an investor, I invite you to consider applying now to pitch at Los Angeles. Now, the Los Angeles event will be different. We will be in person. We will be able to shake hands at Supercrowd Los Angeles. Léa will be there. She will be one of our judges. We're excited to have her there. But all of you four who pitched today, you're eligible, certainly. You haven't been disqualified by virtue of being on the show tonight or for Hempitecture and for Qnetic. You are still eligible despite your big victories. So again, I really want to thank all of you for watching. I want to thank all of you who voted. I want to thank all of you who submitted questions. I want to thank all of our presenters who pitched tonight. And I want to congratulate you all on the success you're having and wish you continued success as we move forward. And with that, I think we will adjourn and call it a night. So thank you very much, everybody.